Feel like you didn't really put a whole lot of effort in.
Don't make the same mistake that I did in dating in thinking that
I just hung out with a man.
Are we in an epidemic of indecisive and confused men?
Feel like you didn't really put a whole lot of effort into what you wore tonight. Feels kind of lazy.
You're talking about the hoodie?
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I mean, this isn't a fancy restaurant, so I didn't...
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I dressed up and everything, and you're just kind of bumming.
Oh, wow. You know you can get your ass up and leave since my clothes is a big problem, right?
Like, it's hard for me to go out in social situations, like, my anxiety to, like, squeeze these stress balls. So, I'm sorry if my outfit, I just thought, like, my mental, would be...
Well, hey, look, do you mind? I'll be back. I gotta use the bathroom, okay?
Okay.
That's the best thing his rude ass could have done. Girl, you just dodged a bullet. Baby, it's a way to talk to people. You can not like something somebody got on, but you're not about to play in my face and think you finna say whatever the hell you want. Girl, you better than me, because, baby, I would have read him his rights and cashed that check on his ass, okay?
don't make the same mistake that I did in dating in thinking that just because the guy that I liked texted me 24/7, it meant that he was interested. Texting and dating doesn't mean anything. In fact, I would recommend avoiding it within the first few 6 months of getting to know someone, because a lot of people will text 24/7 when they first start seeing someone and then create this fake narrative in their head that they're so interested in them and that it's going somewhere and it's, this person's so great, when in reality, texting isn't reality. You should be putting your focus towards how much this man is actually trying to see you. Is he organizing dates? Is he catching up face to face? Because texting is not a real form of communication. I mean, it is, but it's also not. It's not real life. And unfortunately, a lot of people just want a pen pal. So don't make the same mistake that I did when I was younger in thinking that you've established this amazing relationship with someone based off of texting. Because if their actions don't align with the text messages or the things that they're saying to you, they're not that interested.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
I just hung out with a man on a first date and he ordered soup. And this isn't the first time that this has happened to me in the past month. I went on another date with another man who ordered soup. Cold pea soup, to be specific. But tonight was chicken noodle soup, which is a step above cold pea soup. And he drives a Lamborghini. So I will complain a little bit, but not too much.
Oh, hell no!
Are we in an epidemic of indecisive and confused men? Because why have myself and my friends experienced these guys who are confused and don't know what they want? How are y'all gonna reach out to us and then be like, oh, I actually don't have time to date, I actually don't have time for a relationship? I just don't get that. Are y'all going back and forth in your head with what you can handle, what you can juggle, what you want? Please don't come bothering quality girls before you get your mind straight of what you want. Because myself and my friends are confident in ourselves, know what we want, know what we are looking for in a relationship. So, please leave us alone if you're not gonna, fully bring yourself to the table.
The way you show up to a date and your attitude makes it very clear how interested you are. Even if it's something simple, like coffee, showing up looking sloppy just screams disinterest. It's not about spending money. It's about showing respect. And no, men aren't confused or indecisive. If they're not making a move, it's not because they don't know what they want. It's because they're just not into you. That's what a lot of women don't want to accept. Let's be honest. A guy who's texting all day isn't usually focused or productive. A busy man doesn't live glued to his phone. Even so, a lot of women criticize everything, even what a guy orders to eat. What's wrong with ordering soup? The problem is, the standards magically change when the Lamborghini shows up. Then everything is justified. And then they get offended when people call them gold diggers.
Nice to meet you. You're even prettier in person.
Hi.
Everyone always says that. That's so funny.
Do you have any recommendations of where we could eat? I know a couple good spots.
You don't already know where we're going?
I definitely know spots. Like, trust me, I go out like all the time. But like, I just wanted to make sure like I know where to take you. Like, what type of food do you like? Are you Snapchatting right now?
Oh, yeah, sorry. No, I just have all these guys snapping me. I have to like get back to all of them really quick.
And you would have to get your thotty ass out of my vehicle real quick. You so disrespectful.
Okay.
What do you say? Sorry.
What type of food do you like? Like, where would you want to go?
I don't know. I kind of like thought you'd already like have this planned, so I mean whatever you like, I guess.
Okay. Well, I really like your sweater.
I do too. That's why I wore it.
But she not into you. She there for that free food. Cause ain't nobody that's into you gonna be that brutally honest.
Oh my gosh.
What?
My ex-boyfriend just snapped me. It's been like a really long time. I'm like definitely not over him, so crazy. Give me a second. I do have to respond to this.
Wow. Well, are you even like looking for anything right now, or what are we doing?
Oh no, I just wanted the free dinner, and I thought you were like really hot. So,
see, I knew it. You need to put her ass out right now. Tell her call that ex-boyfriend for that free meal that she want. He probably don't even date her. That's probably why she jumping on to the next man. Get her ass out your vision.
You date a nice guy. Sweet, polite, never yells, never argues. At first, it feels peaceful. Finally, no drama. But after a while, it hits you. You're the one planning everything. You're the one starting all the serious talks. You're the one carrying the emotional load. You tell him how lonely you feel, how exhausted you are from doing it all. He listens, nods, says, "I'm sorry you feel that way." And then nothing changes. He still shuts down, avoids conflicts, takes zero initiative. I thought being with a nice guy meant feeling safe. I didn't realize it could also mean feeling completely alone. Ready? Let's go. I dated a nice guy who turned out to just be super conflict avoidant and manipulative. It was super lonely and unfulfilling. I'm glad he broke up with me and that I got away from him. Toxic men will hurt you, but nice guys will destroy you because you don't see it coming and think it has to be you because he's so nice. It has been the hardest lesson to learn, how they shut down into silence, not initiating anything so you do everything, not trying, the loneliness you're surrounded with. Nice guys have almost killed me. I broke up with a man I loved very much because of that. I've spent my entire adult life doing labor for men, and I'm done. Such peaceful absence is also a form of abandonment. You deserve a partner, not just a passenger who comfortably settled into your life. Sometimes the kindest person for you isn't the one who never yells, but the one who's always there for the tough conversations. The accuracy, the similarity, it's such a comfort realizing this experience wasn't unique to me.
Millennial and like Gen Z men, like men in our age groups, they're twice as likely as women to say that they're not dating, they're not having sex, they're not even trying to because they feel like nobody would want to, which is like crazy that they're so self-aware to know that. But, no. But like in all seriousness, like I think there's a real challenge with young men, and I think it's like it might not even be about them, like it might not even be about the woman in their life. It's like the same thing where I'm sure you've had experiences like yourself as well. You're feeling so shit about yourself, then how are you supposed to like give love to other people? Or when you're thinking like, oh well, why bother investing in like even buying somebody something nice for a first date because it always goes shit. And I was really shocked when I read that because I was like, maybe there's something like deeper happening. I don't know.
Look, you can't treat future partners based off past experience. That's not fair to the future people. And like we've all had bad relationships. We've all been, fucking sewered in the past. We've all had bad things happen to us in relationships and in love. You cannot carry that forward. I think that's part of the breakup, where when you break up after a shitty breakup or a shitty relationship, you need to heal. Because if you bring that trauma forward, you're not doing anybody like anything good. I've done it. I've done that in the past where I've brought in previous relationships into current ones and I've hurt people. And it's like, I'm not saying these people I hurt were fucking innocent by any means, but did they deserve what I did to them? Absolutely not. And I did it to them just because I was carrying previous pain forward.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, after a breakup, take time to heal.
I just saw a video of a lady saying she hasn't talked to her husband in 2 weeks. And all I have to say to that lady is, you mean he hasn't talked to you in 2 weeks? Because one thing about men, they talking to somebody. If they're not talking to you, they talking to somebody. And a lot of times, if they talking to you, they still talking to somebody else. So what do you mean you haven't talked to your husband for 2 weeks and y'all in the same house? Baby, what's the plan? What's the move? Because not talking for a whole day is crazy. 2 weeks? Girl.
Listen up, brothers. Thanks to Tinder, Instagram, and all the apps, These women are bombarded 24/7 with messages, likes, and DMs from hundreds of guys. That's why they never focus on just one. These are the same women going on 5 different dates in a week, using simps for free meals, cute photos for their socials, or just to boost their egos. That's why young guys are checking out. Many of us have seen it up close, even with our own sisters, how they talk to 10 guys at once. The good guy, the one with potential, gets emotionally drained, used as a validation ATM, and then they run straight to Chad, who treats them like an option and uses them. If you're on a date and she walks in acting like she's doing you a favor, glued to her phone, not holding a decent conversation, and ordering food like she hasn't eaten in days, wake up, king. She's not into you. She just wants the free meal. That's it. That's why men are walking away from the game. Gym, money, purpose, peace of mind. We're focusing on ourselves. And one last thing. If you live with a woman and she goes 2 days without talking to you, brother, that woman is not yours.
Women.
Women want the bears, and we want you to subscribe and help us hit 1,000 likes on this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion in the comments. It's important to us. Alright then, let's get back to the video.
Life tip, if you're dating a new guy and you want to know what his red flags are or what his character flaws are, ask him what his worst first date has ever been. It works like a charm every single time. For example, I once went on a date with a guy and we were having this conversation like, hey, what was your worst first date? And he proceeds to tell me that he went out to dinner with a girl and she got up in the middle of the dinner and just left. He was like, yeah, I said something, it must have upset her, and she just got up and started yelling at me and left. Shockingly, he couldn't remember what he had said that had made her so upset. And he had the audacity to say, yeah, I don't know. I think that she was just maybe not fully healed, or I just said something that triggered her. I just think it was the way that she interpreted what I said. And while he was telling me this, my brain was just taking in all of this information because I knew that this was not on her. By telling me this story, this man was telling me without actually telling me that he disregards other people's feelings. He's just downright disrespectful and arrogant because he told me that after this girl left, he just stayed there and he ate the dinner and he was kind of laughing about it the whole time. Like he had no remorse over the fact that something that he said would have offended someone so badly to the point where she got up and left. In fact, he had driven her to the date and she just ordered an Uber and went home. And that was all I needed to know about this man. So if you want to know whether the person that you are dating is full of red flags, highly recommend you give this a try.
Yes, king, you're on a chill date, just having a normal conversation, and suddenly the girl blows up over something you said. She stands up, screams at you in front of the whole restaurant, insults you, humiliates you in public, and walks out, leaving you sitting there, stunned. And now she wants to lecture you about caring about other people's feelings? What about mine? Didn't she just scream at me and embarrass me? What kind of world do some women live in where that behavior is okay? They see reality only from their perspective and assume all men are the same. But if the roles were reversed, would anyone be defending the guy who humiliated a woman in public? This kind of double standard is exactly what makes a lot of men lose interest in falling in love. The difference between men and women becomes clear here. Many women make their choices based on the weight of their past experiences. After dating many guys, they start seeing everything as toxic or negative. Men, on the other hand, don't generalize the same way. Unless it's something extreme, we don't carry hate or resentment toward all women because of one bad experience. That's the difference.
Something that I've always found so interesting is that men who, like, quote unquote, want a homebody never find a homebody to begin with, okay? They only value women who stay home and don't go out if they stop them from doing that, okay? Like, if I wanted someone who wasn't at the club, I wouldn't meet them at the club and then force them to stop going. I would just meet them running or at Whole Foods or the mall or something, okay? Men love women the way that they love a tiger and then put it in captivity. If you're already there, if you're a house cat, you're of no value to them. If you're out doing your own thing and they're able to somehow reel you in and stop you from doing that, that's when it's valuable to them. So remember that. And also,
She's right. You can't make good wine from bad grapes. You can't go chasing after a club girl, try to take her home, and expect her to be a lady. If you found the frog out on the street, no matter how many times you kiss it, it's not going to turn into a princess. That kind of woman enjoys the party lifestyle, and sooner or later, she'll go right back to it. At the end of the day, where you find your woman is where she feels comfortable and where she wants to be. So choose your spots wisely, brothers, because you can't make good wine from bad grapes.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
Are you single?
I am single, very single.
Where are you from?
I'm from London. Can you not tell by the accent? I sound Australian.
What's it like dating men in London as opposed to America?
I feel sorry for you Americans, honestly. Since I've come to America, I've just given up on finding love. Everyone here is just, their mindset is so different to people in London. London people, it's more genuine. Women aren't like gold diggers as much as they are in America. Men in America, when they come up to me straight away and they'd be like, hey, I'm the CEO of this, or hey, I can help you with this. Hey, I own this. I drive this car. In London, it's just like, hey, I'm John, you know?
I'm John. Do you want to get coffee sometime?
Yeah, like they're just like genuine. They don't like use their money to like try and get women, whereas here they do.
So why do you think here in Miami, it's all about superficial tendencies?
I mean, look at the face. Most of the women I know here, they're like, I ain't speaking to that man unless he's paying me, or why would I go on this date? Or if they go on a date, they think they don't own the guy's shit, or like they don't, like they think they're the shit, quite a lot of the women here, which they should. But like, it's just, they're very like artificial.
The expectations are too high
way too high
for what it should be.
But I mean, it should be in terms of like not giving themselves out. You know, like they're just money hungry. I don't know why. Honestly, don't know why.
Do you think U.S. men would have a better shot dating in England than they would in the U.S.?
1000%. I know so many US men that go to London to date UK women.
What this woman says is absolutely true. In many places around here, men end up being judged through a female mindset that's almost entirely focused on money. The first thing they want to know is how much you make. Then they decide if you're worth their time. The date stops being a chance to connect and turns into a financial evaluation. But in Europe, there are still women with stronger values who agree to go on a date because they want to get to know you, not because they're calculating what they can get out of it. That's why I like this woman's mindset. You can tell she's a good girl. Just look at how she didn't look down on a simple coffee invitation. Something basic and natural when there's genuine interest. Sure, not all women think like her, but when someone does, it's worth recognizing. Props to her.
Let me ask you something. Do men ever not pursue a woman because they are intimidated by her? Do men ever not pursue a woman because they're just too scared of how much they're going to fall in love with her? We have been fed this tale that if a man is not pursuing you and a man is not making plans with you, that's probably because he's intimidated by you. He's intimidated by your success. He's intimidated by your beauty. He's intimidated by how fancy of a lifestyle you have. And I'm just curious, is any of that true? Is any of that?
It's not that he's intimidated. It's that he knows that by getting into a relationship with that kind of woman, he's going to be signing up for a full-time job trying to maintain and upkeep a relationship without her even reciprocating. It's quite literally the ability of a man to look at a situation logically, to then determine if it's even worthwhile trying to pursue a woman that potentially could just tear his life apart and he will never have peace. What a man is actually intimidated by is being sent to HR because he's about to get fired. He's intimidated by the police being called on him for being falsely accused over something that he's never done. And he's intimidated by running into a bear in the woods.
Men aren't intimidated by you. They just don't see you as the kind of woman they want to fall in love with. When a man truly wants a woman, he goes after her, makes her a priority, and acts accordingly. He doesn't do it out of pressure or fear of losing her, but because she aligns with what he wants in life. That's why men commit and give the ring to the woman they see as the right one, because the decision to get married always comes from the man. Calling lack of interest intimidation is just a convenient way to avoid the truth. It's not that he's scared. It's that he doesn't like you enough to invest his time in you.
It is very common for men to lie about their life experiences just to make them seem a bit cooler than what they are. So let me tell you about this one guy that would lie about everything. And no, I'm not talking about lying about stupid things. I mean, he lied about his whole life. He literally created this fake version of his life and was like, yeah, that's the life that I lived. But it wasn't. So the first thing this man lied about is he grew up during war. He saw people. How are you lying about the history of your own country? If you look it up, your country did not go through war. What do you mean you went through war? How can you make that up? Literally made up a period of his life where he went through war. But looking at his dad's Facebook, they were traveling. At least get the dates right. I'm pretty sure he was not okay in the head, because tell me why he was like, oh, my teacher, because he disrespected my family. How are you just admitting that? Yeah, like I followed him and I literally threatened him. And then this guy literally quit his job and moved countries. First of all, didn't you say he was dead? He would also lie about being broke to get people to order him food. His dad was a CEO of a company. How could you be broke? He would also lie about having people after him because he was this dangerous man that would always get into fights. The only fights he'd get into are the ones after clubbing with random men. He wouldn't mention that he would lose most of them. I don't know why he felt the need to lie so much, but he would literally make up stories that sounded just so fake. Like,
Women want the bears, and we want you to subscribe and help us hit 1,000 likes on this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion in the comments. It's important to us. All right then, let's get back to the video.
Won't lie about anything that they think will make it more likely for you to sleep with them. It's taken me a long, long time to realize this because I am like a very earnest person and I never expect somebody to be lying when they're talking to me, but they will lie. They will lie about anything, like who they voted for, their values, the way their relationship ended, whether they're currently in a relationship. And in particular, I've found a lot of men lie to me about what they're into sexually. Ultimately, it comes down to shame, which is very sad. They don't believe that they're lovable in some way, so they have to build this facade because they don't think women will actually want to sleep with them if they show their true colors. And you know what? They're probably right. But instead of working on themselves and trying to better themselves so that they could be a good partner for someone someday, they just lie about it. It is self-abandonment in a sense, because if you're so ashamed that you have some weird kink or something, or so ashamed of being vanilla that you want to lie about being kinky, like, if you were just honest, you'd be happier. And you'd be able to find people that you're actually fucking compatible with.
Men don't actually value women, they value women's labor. And this is really a prime example of it. If I have to pay for everything, cook and clean, there is no need for a partner, is there? It's really just, what can a woman do to make my life easier, not better, not more beneficial? It's, what can I give to her, the things that I already do, what can I give to her to make her do for me? That's the value that they see in women. Women don't need somebody else to come in and do the things that they already do for themselves. You see how that works? Women aren't looking for a man to come in and do the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry, because we do that shit ourselves. We don't need anybody else to provide that for us. But men go from their mother's house to college, maybe where they kind of half-ass it, and at home where their mom is doing everything, and they go right into finding a woman who could do the very same things that their mother did for them. Women want you to actually show up and provide additional value that they can't provide themselves. They can cook, they can clean, they can mow the lawn, they can schedule their own car maintenance appointments. What else are you going to bring to the table outside of that? And don't say financial provider, because we already do that too. Don't say protector, because it wasn't for you. We wouldn't need protecting in the first place. But this is the shallowness of what men are looking for in women. They're not looking for deep, meaningful connections with women. They're looking for women to make their lives easier. It brings us right back to, men don't want a wife. Men want a second mother to cook for them, to clean for them, to do their laundry, to wipe their ass.
Fuck up, you crazy bitch whore!
First off, lying takes two people, one to lie and one to believe it. If you keep falling for the same stories, it's not just because guys lie. It's because you're attracted to that type of man. It's no secret that a lot of women fall in love through their ears. So if you like smooth talkers who sell you fantasies, then that's exactly what you're going to keep finding, over and over. At that point, the issue stops being the liar and starts being the woman who enjoys having dreams sold to her. When a woman says men don't value women, What she's really showing is that she doesn't understand how men think. Men value based on usefulness, logic, and practicality. That's why men strive to be useful, and why they value what brings peace, structure, and stability into their lives. A woman who takes care of the home and takes care of her man is deeply appreciated. And that's exactly why a man wants to give her everything in return. Women tend to see the world through emotion, but at the end of the day, life isn't run on emotions. It's run on structure, usefulness, and responsibility.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
Are you single?
Yes,
Why are you single right now?
because the men are not enough rich to take care of me.
So you're looking for a rich man.
Yes, yes, I want to be spoiled.
Why does he have to be rich?
Because I want to be spoiled. Because I make my own money and I need to be dominated.
So you couldn't dominate the man who you were out earning.
I'm submissive. No, I cannot.
So the man that you want, what do you expect from him financially?
I accept him to change my life and, I don't know, take care of me, give me security.
He has to pay for everything.
Yes.
Take you on trips.
Yes, of course.
Whatever you want, it doesn't matter the cost. He should be able to get it.
Yes, exactly.
But you're 29 now.
Yes.
Do you think that if you met a multimillionaire in Miami, that he's gonna say, yeah, I'll give that to her? Or is he gonna give it to the 23-year-old girl?
I look young, I look fresh, I don't smoke, I don't drink, so I think I look 23.
Okay,
Do you?
that question's up for debate, but he gives you that, right? How do you support that multimillionaire in his life?
Just me?
Just you?
Yes.
But what do you bring?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Yeah. It's hard to be a woman these days, so, and we get shit on, so.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
So you want a millionaire who'll take you on trips, pay for everything, and spoil you with all your whims. And he'll do all that just because you bring your presence to the table? I don't know, brothers, but I feel scammed. And on top of that, she's 29 and already has baggage. That awkward silence when she claims she looks 23 says a lot. The reality is, men who can afford that kind of lifestyle are a tiny minority in today's economy. And those same men, if they have that many options, why would they settle down, give a woman a ring, or commit to just one person, when they can choose younger women without taking on responsibilities or ties? Make it make sense.
Women.
Quick question for all my fellow single ladies. Are we accepting coffee dates? I'm asking this because over the weekend I met a guy while I was out, and he's 38 years old, and he asked me to get coffee with him for a first date. And I personally don't accept coffee dates as first dates, or maybe even as third or fourth dates, because to me, they just seem low effort, and my time is more valuable than going and getting a $5 coffee with you for an hour or two. So I told him I wasn't available for coffee, but I told him I was available for dinner on Monday night. The only benefit I could possibly see from a coffee date is that there's less pressure and it's less formal. But for me, I just don't feel like it's worth my time. But if you're someone who likes coffee dates, maybe you can tell me why. Maybe you'll change my mind.
Stop it. Get some help.
Call me crazy, guys, but if a guy asks me out on a coffee date, I'm not going. Like, I feel like that's just a cheap way out. You want to spend less than $10 on me. Also, I finished my coffee in like 5 seconds, so what am I gonna do? Like, sit there and twiddle my thumbs? It's a no from me, dog.
Ladies, if a man asks you to go get coffee on the first date, that is not the kind of man you want to date. You might think a woman should be wine and dine on the first date. Here's why I disagree. You shouldn't be going on a date with anyone that you wouldn't want to wine and dine. Y'all are so thirsty and desperate for like a little crumb of attention. You can take that girl on a walk in the park. Go touch some grass. Look at the stars or some shit. None of those things cost you money. But a man asking you to get coffee? Immediately no. I personally have never been asked on a coffee date because, like, I got too much pizzazz for some whack-ass shit like that. However, I had what's the opposite of pleasure? I had the discomfort of dating the wackest man in the world for, like, a period of, like, 2 weeks. He told me he had a dating profile with Like, yeah, like, did you go on dates with girls? And he was like, yeah, like about like 4 dates a week. I was like, okay, what would you do with them? And he's like, you mostly just like take them to like go get coffee, you know? Imagine you're like the 4th bitch he's gotten coffee with this week, bestie. Like, embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
One thing I don't understand is when guys ask me out on a coffee date or ask me to go do a workout. It's like, no, I can take myself to coffee. I can also take myself to work out and I'm in great shape. I don't even have time to get coffee with my own girlfriends, let alone some guy I don't know. When I get DMs like that, I just don't even open them anymore. I'm just like, in what world would I want to go for coffee? Like, London is so busy. Just like, step it up, London. Step up your game, London guys.
Oh, hell no!
Women want expensive dates to take pictures and get a free dinner. If I don't know you, I don't know if you're genuinely interested in me. A date is simply a way to meet. What's wrong with a coffee date? There's no pressure. You can leave when it's over. We can have a nice conversation, and if there's chemistry, it might lead to a better second date. What these women don't understand is that when a girl sets the standard that she only accepts dinner dates and says every man she's gone out with only took her to dinner, you eventually see that she's still single. All those men who made an astronomical effort to impress her got nothing. So why would I make the same mistake? If you're not genuinely interested in me, then what you really want is the dinner and the photo for your social media. To say you're going to fancy places, post pictures of everything except the sponsor of that night, and then ghost him so you can go watch Netflix at Chad's house a few days later. Bro, don't overpay for something someone else gets for pennies.
Women.
Controversial dating opinions from a 24-year-old girlie who's been single for about 8 months and gone on her fair share of first dates. Actually, coffee dates, not a fan, not a thing. I've done it, shall not be doing it again. I don't think you can develop any sort of romantic connection over a coffee. It's not to say that I need to be taken to the Shard and wined and dined in the most bougiest restaurant, but I just think a coffee is like a work thing. It's not a way to build that kind of romantic spark. So even if it's like going for a drink, or if you don't drink alcohol, doing an activity, just not coffee and not a walk, because like, I'm not a dog. You're not taking me out for a walk. I'm sorry. That might sound pretentious, but that's just my standard of dating.
If a man asks you out on a coffee date, charge him $500. As a divorce lawyer, let me tell you why. Coffee is for colleagues. Coffee is not for courting. Would that man ask Margot Robbie out on a coffee date? When a man asks you out on a coffee date, what he's really saying is, I want your time, your energy, your presence at the lowest possible cost to me. Coffee is cheap. Coffee is convenient. Coffee takes zero effort. And yet your time is not cheap. Your presence is not convenient. And your energy is not effortless. It's valuable. I've seen women pour hours of their lives into men who never invested more than the price of a latte. They call it getting to know you, but really it's about seeing how much they can get without giving. And the problem is, too many women accept it. The standard you set on the first date is the one you'll be judged by the whole relationship. Men who are serious don't ask you for the bare minimum. They plan, they invest, they create experiences because they understand that your time is worth more than $6 and an awkward conversation over burnt espresso. I tell my clients this all the time. You don't need grand gestures, but you do need effort. Because a man who won't invest in you at the beginning will definitely not invest in you when life gets hard. If he cuts corners on courting, he'll cut corners in marriage. If a man asks you out for coffee, send him an invoice. Charge him $500 because that's closer to the real value of your time, your energy, and your presence.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I'm gonna get shit for this, but this is why I think you should say no if you get asked on a coffee date. Obviously, there are special exceptions. If someone is sober and doesn't drink, I totally get it. But we're talking like a man who definitely goes out and drinks is asking you to go on a coffee date. This is why I say no. It's just my personal opinion that I think that when someone asks me on a coffee date, it's telling me I go on so many dates that I can't afford to take you for drinks anymore. Like, I'm a serial dater. That's what it communicates to me. So because I serial date so much and I have literally been spending all my money on cocktails on other women, we're gonna go get coffee. Hope that's okay. I would personally much rather do like a walk on the beach with like a glass of wine or a sunset picnic. This isn't a work meeting for me. Okay, babes?
That's just my opinion. I think when you ask me on a coffee date, that's why I'm saying no. It's giving I date the entire city of Los Angeles and I can't take you to drinks.
I'm not gonna lie, but I actually hate it when a guy asks me out on a coffee first date. Because here's what it sounds like to me. Hey, I'm at a phase in my life where I'm not super intentional about dating, but I want to have access to as many people as I want. And coffee dates are both a time and financially responsible method for maximizing my efforts. If you met your current partner or you're dating a lovely person and your first date was a coffee date, I'm not trying to take away from it. These are just my opinions as a 27-year-old woman who is not prioritizing dating. I'm not on any dating apps and I'm not actively going out of my way to meet new people with the intention of creating a romantic connection. So with that being said, I freaking hate a coffee first date. The most common rebuttal I hear to this is that because first dates are a vibe check, like coffee dates are good. It's an easy exit out if the date turns out to be really bad and you're not wasting time or money in the case that it is really bad. Or something like, I drink coffee every day anyway. It really doesn't make sense to me why you would want to walk into a date or plan a date with those kinds of reasonings in the back of your mind. Like, why are you justifying your reason for going on a date in the case that it's bad, it was just coffee. It was just $5. Like, shouldn't you want to plan a date because you're excited to get to know someone? And then I can already sense people being like, well, first dates aren't that serious. And I feel like coffee dates to me are the epitome of the casualness and the non-committal nature of modern dating. If two people can't even fathom spending an hour or two throughout their week with either a dinner or a meaningful activity with the hopes of getting to know one another intentionally, I just don't have the confidence that those two people want to be in a real relationship anyway. Like, if I wanted to get to know someone in a non-serious way, I'd probably just straight up ask, like, hey, I'd love to get to know you in a platonic sense. Like, why don't we grab dinner with friends? Instead of just asking me on a coffee date. Like, I do not care for vibe checking people under the false pretense of romantic connection. Like, in that case, let's just be honest. Like, hey, I want to hook up with you, but I don't want to seem like a douche, so I'll buy you coffee. Yes, clearly I have very strong opinions about this, which is why I don't accept coffee dates. Like, yes, I have been on 4 or 5, but it's not my thing. This is just my opinion.
There's something that keeps coming up with these women. Most of them are over 25 or approaching 30. In other words, they're hitting the wall or already have. They're still single, without a man willing to build a serious relationship, and yet they feel entitled to tell other women to reject a guy just because he suggests a coffee date. The truth is, a lot of their parents met without fancy dinners or over-the-top gestures and still built lifelong marriages. When the interest is real, the type of date doesn't matter. A coffee date isn't about being cheap. It's about checking for compatibility, having a conversation, and seeing if there's chemistry. If it doesn't work out, both move on. If it does, the second date is where the man puts in more effort because now he knows she's worth it. By rejecting that, they're closing doors on themselves. That's why they remain single, frustrated, and giving advice that keeps others stuck in the same spot. The toughest part is seeing how they turn down a good man over a simple date, and later, they see him engaged to a woman who did accept. That's when it hits them. Opportunities don't come back. That's why more and more, the wall shows no mercy. Women want the bears, and we want you to subscribe and help us hit 1,000 likes on this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion in the comments. It's important to us. Alright then, let's get back to the video.
With all of this discourse about people liking or hating coffee dates, I feel like everyone is focusing on things that don't matter. I hate coffee dates. And the reason why is that, assuming this is a first date and you are just meeting this stranger, or just now for the first time really talking to a stranger that met you out in public and asked you out, coffee dates are horrible because you already have some nerves, right? And you're sitting there in the light of day trying to make conversation, and instead of just sitting there like a brick, if you're nervous, to look natural, what do? You take a sip of your little beverage, your caffeinated beverage. You do this if you're nervous, but it's caffeine. So it's just gonna make you jittery and more nervous. And you're nervous, trying to look natural, keep sipping your little coffee. It's a negative feedback loop of becoming more jittery and awkward. And you're just sitting there like, trying to make conversation. Whereas a dinner date, at least, the beverage you're sipping is probably a drink. You're nervous, you take a sip of your drink, it calms your nerves a little bit. Maybe the whole point of this is I need a drink. A singular one for a first date, okay? Because this is high nerves. Also, a dinner date, you get your food, you get your drink, and then you get the check. There's a pretty clear, end point. It's easy to tell when the date is over. A coffee date, however, you're sitting there, it's not going to take you that long to finish your coffee, but then it's really awkward. There's not really a clear end time to this date. It's not like there's a mutual like, hey, we got the check, this date is over. No. Eventually, after like an hour and a half, one of you's gonna eventually have to pull the plug awkwardly and be like, hey, maybe it's time to go. So much more awkward. I feel like if you have any nerves or social anxiety, a coffee date is hell. It's hell. It's so much worse. And something about a coffee date just kind of gives like LinkedIn. I don't know. There's so many people just like networking around you. It just brings out the fakest version of everyone. And also, depending on the coffee shop, normally it's normal at dinner to be talking at the table. There's ambient noise, but in a lot of coffee shops, no one else might be talking. There might be no one else there, and then everyone who comes in line is just going to be listening to your conversation. Anyways, I don't know how the discourse got so weird about this, but I am not a coffee date fan. Like, I'll do it. It can be cutesy, but it's just, I am so much more nervous for a coffee date than I have ever been for a dinner date. I don't know.
She's partly right, but it all depends on how the man handles the situation. A coffee date shouldn't drag on. 30 minutes is enough to talk, check the vibe, and decide if it's worth moving forward. If there's interest, the man should immediately take the lead and suggest a more elaborate second date. What doesn't make sense is stringing together coffee dates like that's a real relationship. Here's the message for men: lead the date, guide the conversation, stay clear on what you want, and don't lose sight of your goals just to please. And for the women, a simple truth: a coffee date is a no-pressure outing. There's no obligation to stay for hours or force anything. You have your coffee, talk, and if it doesn't click, you both move on. In the end, the first date isn't about impressing. It's about getting to know each other.
I just saw a video that said men, if they're not married by the age of 30, 1 in 3 will become a substance abuser. And that's very interesting. And what kind of sucks is I'm 30 and I like men either my age or a little bit older, which means out of 1 of 3 men, they will be substance abusers, which has been pretty accurate, especially living in Miami.
Did you know that married men are not just making more money than married women, but they are making more money than single men? And I've been seeing this chart floating around for a little bit now, but I've seen it a lot this week, where it shows that income goes like this for men who are married, and for everyone else, it stays down here. And it's so interesting because I actually saw this preacher, I think it was, at one of those like mega churches, get up on stage and say, the reason married men make so much money is because they have to. It's because they have to feed their family, and it's because they have to provide. And so there's this pressure on them to do that. When in reality, what we know is that the reason men are able to do this oftentimes is because they have handed off all of the unpaid labor required to manage a home and live your life to a partner. They have handed off laundry, cooking, cleaning, taking care of the kids. All of that has been handed to someone else. And it hasn't been explicit. It's not like men simply say like, here, honey, this is all yours now. But over time, especially because our society essentially says that like women are the default caregivers, these things slowly pile up for women and men get to relieve themselves of this other work. I think a good example of this is when I travel for work, it requires a lot of coordination. I am the default parent in our house. And so I'm doing bus drop off. I am doing school pickup. I am doing after school activities. I'm packing lunches. I'm doing laundry, like all of these things. And when I travel for work, my husband has to pick all those things up. He has to do all those things. We have to coordinate people to drop the kids off at the bus. Like all that stuff has to be coordinated. When my husband works long hours or travels for work, nothing really changes except for the fact that my evenings are more chaotic because that's typically when he'd be home. And whenever we talk about women's unpaid labor, the work that they're doing at home, people will say, sure, they do more unpaid labor at home, but men do more paid labor. But what we ignore is that men are able to do this because they have that person at home, right? And this isn't just with kids either. This happens for men who are just simply married, right? All they have to do is get married and then they offload work. And when women marry men, they gain work. I think it's about an hour of work that they gain simply because they are married to a man. When in theory, if they're both sharing things in an equitable way, that wouldn't happen. And so men aren't earning more when they are fathers or when they're married simply because they fall into this role of provider. They're earning more because they've been able to offload a lot of that other work to someone else.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
If you were a stay-at-home mom, You should be receiving a salary from your husband.
Why? Because if two people are married and one is working and one is not, in this case, the man is working, that means he is paying for everything in the household, to include the mortgage / the rent, the bills, the insurance, and everything that goes along with being an adult. So why does the wife, in this case, who doesn't work, need to get a salary from the husband?
If you are a stay-at-home mom, otherwise known as a non-compensated working mom, and you are married to a man...
I've always wondered, what about women that are married to other women and one of them works? Does the one who is working have to pay the non-working woman a salary in that situation as well? Or is this only a man-woman kind of thing?
Your husband, the compensated partner, should be paying for the uncompensated labor. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of pissed off men in the comments.
No, I'm just confused. Why exactly would a spouse expect to get paid for doing the work that a person, if they were single, would be doing all on their own with no reimbursement? This doesn't make any sense to me.
Try to replace you. Try to replace a stay-at-home mom. You're going to be paying for a chauffeur, a chef, a nanny, a project manager for the house. In fact, recent data has shown that stay-at-home moms, non-compensated working parents, if you had to pay them a salary, it would be at least $175,000.
This really doesn't make any sense, and it seems a bit one-sided because you notice how you never hear this conversation coming up in same-sex relationships? It's only men and women. Why is that?
So if you are a non-compensated working mom, if you are a stay-at-home mom, you deserve a salary from your husband. I said it.
Sure. Right. So let me ask a question. What about single parents? And that includes single fathers. Are they going to get paid for all of the work that they do that goes uncompensated for, that is just expected of them on a daily basis? And who's going to pay for that? I mean, seriously, people are expecting to get paid for things that are just part of being an adult.
I saw this TikTok recently. The comments were just so depressing. But they were saying, like, women, what have you not said out loud about marriage? And one woman said, his life will be better when you get married. Yours won't. And it was this conversation about, you're going to do everything you do for yourself, and now you're going to have to do it for somebody else too, and the kids. And I'm like, man, it really matters who you decide to do life with, right? And how they view partnership and marriage and you as a woman and your ambitions and your goals and the role they play in that, and that you don't do that on your own. You do that as a team.
Stop it. Get some help.
You've probably heard the saying, data kills the narrative. So let me give you an interesting one. An income distribution analysis from the Current Population Survey estimates that about 23.1% of workers earn $100,000 or more. Around 42.3 million workers are men between the ages of 35 and 44, and about 15% of them are single. Now think about these single men making six figures. At what point exactly did a woman improve their lives? Also, I have to ask, should women married to athletes, lesbians, or those with housekeepers also get a check for unpaid labor? Why does this narrative only apply to heterosexual couples? Do lesbians not clean? Do gay couples not clean either? According to this argument, it seems like those people never do anything at home. The real issue here isn't housework, it's resentment. A lot of women can't stand the idea of their husbands growing, succeeding, and advancing while they themselves feel left behind. And yes, brothers, many of them end up resenting the man who gave them a comfortable, stable, and protected life. After everything he provides, all that's really expected is that she takes care of what was built for her. That's it.
Who really benefits from marriage? Because from where I'm sitting as a divorce lawyer, it's not always the women. I was talking to a pharmacist friend the other day, and she said something that really stuck out. She said, "Do you know who I dispense the most antidepressants to? Wealthy married women. Not single moms, not struggling 20-somethings, married women with picture-perfect lives and matching Range Rovers. The women who, on paper, have it all. Because when men get married, they live longer. Their income increases. Their home life becomes more stable. But women, statistically, we take on more housework, more emotional labor, more of the invisible load that slowly eats away at us. And somehow we're expected to be grateful just to have a ring. Marriage was never built for equality. It was built for security, land, labor, lineage. And in many ways, the blueprint hasn't changed. Women are still taught to center marriage like it's the end goal, while men are taught to pursue it once they're established. So what happens? Women build men. Nurture them, forgive them, stay loyal through potential, and by the time he's ready, she's depleted. And if she speaks up, she's nagging. If she stops trying, she's cold. If she wants more, she's ungrateful. Marriage works best when both people benefit, but we've created a system where the bar is on the floor for men, and women are doing the emotional gymnastics of trying to make it work anyway. So before you chase the wedding, ask yourself, will this structure nourish you or slowly drain you? Because a ring should never come at the cost of your peace, and if the price of being a wife is getting antidepressants, maybe he's the one who's getting a better deal, not you.
Starting over as a single mother is difficult, but it's not impossible. See, I've started over. I've had to start over twice. The first time after my 14-year marriage to the father of my children ended, and I almost immediately got into another relationship. And after 3.5 years, that relationship ended as well. And both times I moved out of the home. I moved out of the home that I had created with these men and moved into my own home, my own space. And it's difficult. It's difficult to pay the bills. I suffer with anxiety. I struggle making sure that my children have everything that they absolutely need. But the peace that I feel in my own home, not having to walk on eggshells, not constantly have to worry about someone else's emotions, is worth the difficulty, is worth the stress just to have that peace. It's totally worth it to start over.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
So many women that are married are not happy because they got married because they thought they had to, because women have to get married, and they never actually considered that they themselves might not be happy in a marriage. For me to be married, it's going to take a very certain type of person, and I've always known this. That's why I've always gone for the men that worship the ground that I walk on. Princess treatment, like to other people, yeah, to you they might be a simp, but to me, I know that is the only way I'm going to survive in a marriage. I am not going to be stuck in a marriage where my partner hates me. We have normalized that way too much. We've normalized men talking to you however they want because they've had a bad day, acting as if they have no home training, throwing their shoes everywhere, not knowing where to put the toothpaste, not knowing how to do a single piece of shopping. I've always known that if I was stuck in a marriage with a man like that, it was never going to work. So I've literally never even looked towards those type of men. I'm not interested in you. I know we won't work out. I know our marriage will not work out. So I am not even interested in pursuing a dating relationship with you. That's why I've only ever dated men that are like, have common sense, are good guys. And when I mean good guys, I'm not saying in terms of just personality, but like I need someone that has a stable job. I'm not dating someone that's doing all of this stuff that can land them a jar, because once again, I don't want to raise children with someone who's not here. So I don't even put myself in a position to date somebody like that, because if you go to jail, I'm very vocal about the fact that I won't wait. Really think about whether or not marriage is for you. Not because society is telling you to get married, but because you actually want to get married. Because I'm telling you, so many people in marriages these days are struggling. It's clear they hate their lives. They don't know why they did that. And it's all because we are so male-centered sometimes that we don't actually stop to think, what do we want? Do I want to be married? Again, I will only have children with a certain type of man. And only when I'm ready. I'm sorry, I've met people that wanted to have babies way before, and I have always politely declined. I'm not interested. I'm having a baby when I'm ready, so that if it does go to hell, then I know that at least I did things in my own time and I was ready. And if I'm never ready, then I'm never ready. But I'm not just having a baby with somebody because I'm happy in the moment.
Let's get into it. Let's talk about why marriage benefits men more than women. I would also encourage you to go look this up, because I'm just going to focus on one factor, but there's actually a lot. On average, married men make 10 to 24% more than unmarried men. Why do we suppose that is? Because they have their wife at home doing all of the unpaid emotional and domestic labor, which allows them to focus, work harder, and work longer. Now, let's assume that the wife also has a career, because that's how most households are nowadays. So you have both the husband and the wife working outside the home, but only one of them is doing the vast majority of the domestic labor. And it ain't the husband. So the wife is working all day and then coming home and working more. What does this lead to? Depression, anxiety, stress? That's a significant amount of pressure. And what's the result of all of this? The result is the ultimate benefit. Married men live longer than single men, but married women do not live longer than single women. Being a married woman cuts your life expectancy short.
Example of data kills the narrative. Adult women in the US are significantly more likely than men to receive mental health treatment, including therapy and psychiatric medication. In 2020, about 25.6% of women received some form of mental health treatment in the past 12 months, compared to just 14.6% of men. That includes both therapy and the use of psychiatric medication. But that's not all. Evidence shows that being married is usually associated with fewer symptoms of depression than being single or unmarried. From 2015 to 2018, antidepressant use was higher among divorced or separated adults, 20.5%, than among married adults, 12.3%. Across all marital categories, women had higher rates than men. Additionally, 15.3% of women between the ages of 25 and 35 took medication for depression, compared to 7.4% of men in the same age group. So what do these numbers actually tell us? That single women tend to experience more loneliness, that many women who've hit the wall rely more on therapy, and that marriage doesn't just benefit men, it also provides emotional stability for women. That's why we see so many women channeling their maternal instincts into pets or progressive political causes. Where single women are overrepresented and often openly express their emotional frustration after years of pouring their motherly energy, women want the bears, and we want you to subscribe and help us hit 1,000 likes on this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion in the comments. It's important to us. Alright then, let's get back to the video.
Okay, so I'm not trying to be a feminist or anything, but I'm gonna say this loud and clear. It might offend and trigger some people, but I don't care. So let me say this, right? Marriage mostly benefits the man. I don't care what anybody says, but I'm gonna explain why I say this, right? I'm gonna explain. Hear me out. So, number one, a wife will do everything that your mother did for you as a child, like cook for you, clean for you, turns your home into a house, and on top of that, she bears children for you. She literally gives you life. She gives you a family, right? Keep that in mind. So what I'm saying is basically the only differences between your mother and your wife is that you sleep with your wife. As simple as that, right? Okay. Reason number two. So every woman loses part of herself when she becomes a wife. Okay? And she loses even more of herself when she becomes a mother. A mother of one, a mother of two, a mother of three. Okay? Alright? It takes a lot of work to not lose yourself. Like, I'm not even joking. It takes a lot of work. Like, the mental strength, the courage. You need a lot of support from your partner, especially if your partner is not a God-fearing man and he doesn't respect women and he doesn't, stand by your side, especially during, your labor and then after your labor, after you guys had kids. If he's not there beside you, I'm telling you, you're gonna lose yourself. Like, you're gonna lose yourself, like, absolutely. Okay? And this is, like, something that needs to be, like, spoken about, because ሴት ልጅ ሚስት መሆን ምን እንትን ይላታል ባል ነው የሚያስተዳድራት ባል ነው እንደዚህ የሚያደርግላ ምናምን bro. Men's nowadays, they don't provide, they don't take care of their women's, ትዳር ብቻ like ተጋባን ለመባል ነው የሚጋባው አብዛኛው ሰው ማለት ነው. They do actually not know, absolutely have no idea like how hard marriage is. Like, it's no joke. It's no joke. It's two people coming together to build life. You know what I'm saying? Two different people that grew up differently. They have like different upbringing, and then they come in together to like united and be one and create a family. So it's not easy. It's not a joke. And then most of the time, it's the woman that has to do like almost everything in the marriage. You know what I'm saying? Like, has to be the mother, the wife, and the one that's taking care of everybody. It's just mentally, it's draining, and most people don't realize that.
She's partially right. But a relationship works because both people contribute. It's no coincidence that households where both parents stay together tend to raise kids who are more likely to succeed. There are two adults invested in their well-being. Reducing it all to housework ignores the fact that men are sacrificing their bodies, their time, and often their health to provide for the household. And it's that very effort that allows them to grow and advance in their careers. That's something nobody talks about. Most men pay for work with their health, chronic stress, and a shorter life expectancy. While many women focus on white-collar jobs, men are still taking on the hardest and most dangerous roles. And the presence of a father is crucial, especially when there are sons in the house. Boys without a strong male figure often go down the wrong path. Valuing the female role doesn't mean we should ignore the male role, and it definitely doesn't mean turning marriage into a transactional relationship where helping your own family is treated like a paid job. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. If marriage and family provide emotional stability and better outcomes for kids, why is it being portrayed today as a burden instead of a shared responsibility? If both adults benefit from each other's sacrifices, when did helping your own family become something that should be treated like a paid job? If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Your support means a lot to us and keeps us motivated to create more content. Stay tuned for the next video from the wall.